Well, I believe you can see how colorful the interface looks. The lighting looks very natural as well as the environment. Today, our main focus is going to be the cloth simulation, but I will advise you to watch the entire video till the end so that you won't miss out on the lightning tricks I adopted. I believe if you also understand the tricks, it will positively influence the quality of your work. Let's assume you already have your car model available, or it could be any object of your choice. But in this context, as you can see, we are using car and not any other object. The first thing we do, we highlight the entire car and convert it to mesh by clicking on the object option, and we scroll down to convert. Immediately after convert, we branch out to mesh. If your conversion isn't successful, don't get discouraged. Let me teach you this trick. All you have to do is simple. Just go beneath the car and add a plane. Make sure the plane is very tiny and make sure that it is not visible to the camera lens. Now, you will attempt to convert it to mesh. I believe it should work this time around. Next, you press Ctrl J to join all the mesh together in a single unit. The main reason for doing this, for joining the entire car mesh together, is for us to have the desired collision effect that we anticipate later in this procedure guide. Next, you press Shift D along the x-axis. By so doing, the duplicate is going to remain on a straight line. Make sure you downsize the quality of the duplicated mesh by using the Ray Mesh modifier. This will give you a low quality version of the car. The actual purpose of this Ray Mesh application is to make the process of the car, the process of the clothes collision easier to calculate. Immediately after that, we adjust the vector size of the remeshed car to fit perfectly with the main model. After you have done that accurately, the next thing to do is to apply the modification. This will cement the adjustment that we've done so far, or the modifications that we've done so far, by clicking on the apply option. Still on the remeshed car model, make sure you rename it to collision mesh and hide it from the render view for now by clicking on this camera icon. Immediately after that, you move the remeshed car model back towards the main car and scale it to fit perfectly. But don't forget, initially, when we moved the remeshed car away from the main model, it was on a straight line. And the straight line that we used was along the x-axis. So by moving it back, make sure immediately after you try to move it back, you try to move it by pressing. So in this context, you press GX. G will give you the option to move the object, the model. Immediately after you press X, X will enable you to be able to accurately move the model along the x-axis. Next, we add the clothes by moving the cursor towards the top of the car, and we press Shift A to add a plane directly above the car. This plane we add as the clothes. Make sure you press X to scale the plane a little bit more to fit into your expectations. And don't also forget that while the scaling is done, make sure it is being done accurately along all the axes. I mean the X, Y, and the Z axis. By so doing, ensure that the cloth is hovering directly on top of the car. Next, you press Ctrl A to apply all the transformations so far. Having done that, you press Tab to move to the edit mode. While you're in the edit mode, you right click to see the subdivide option. Immediately after you choose the subdivide option, this will pop up and you can decide to increase the numbers of the faces. Well, I feel you can increase the number of the faces to 70. Let's use 70. The higher the number of faces, the better the interaction between the cloth and the car. The only downsides to this is simple. It might slow down your system. That's if a GPU memory is low. If your GPU memory is low, you can use a lower value. Furthermore, you move to the vertex group and you add a new group and make sure you change the name of the group to hanger. Next, you select some vertex at the edge of the clothes, just like what you can see doing on your screen. We intend to use these as the hanger while still in the edit mode. Take note. Immediately after we've done that, make sure you assign it to our vertex group. If that feels a bit complex for you to comprehend, kindly rewind the clip back to the introduction of the vertex group to get this illustration accurately. I believe we've done that. Okay, so we can move on now. Next, you switch back to the object mode by pressing Tab and move your cursor towards the edge of the clothes and you had empty. We can rename the empty to, okay, let's use hanger hoop. While the plane should also be renamed as clothes. Immediately after we are done with that, what else? Okay, next you add the physics properties to the cloth by click on the sidebar menu by the right to see the cloth presets. Immediately after this pop up, you can choose from this preset. So let's pick silk. Next, we scroll down to shape and make a selection for the pin group. Immediately after we make a selection for the pin group, we pick the hanger and scroll down to collision and we increase the quality to 7. I believe 7 is fine. Next, we decrease the collision distance to, let's say, 0.001 meters, which is totally fine. Immediately after we are done with that, we add the hook modifier to the clothes by clicking on the object and we pick the hanger hook. Remember, the hanger hook was formerly named empty before we renamed it to hanger hook. Next, we add some physics simulation to the collision mesh. I mean, the low quality car. We repeat the same process for the floor by adding the same collision effect to the floor as well. Next, we run our simulation to see what we've done so far. The collisions are beginning to interact accurately. To add more realism to the clothes, I feel we should add the subdivision modifier to it, and we can decide to increase the level viewpoints to, let's say, 3, as well as increase the render to 3. Immediately after that, what's the next thing to do? Yes, don't forget to smoothen the clothes. That's if you wish. And if you want to make the clothes look smooth, all you have to do is to right click and the smooth option will pop up. The next thing on our agenda is to animate the hanger hook. To animate the hanger hook, it's simple. Click on the hanger hook and press high. In this context, high we set the keyframe. Among all the options that are available to choose from, let's select location. By so doing, it will set the initial keyframe at the exact time that we want it to start from, just like what you can see on your screen on your interface. Next, you move the keyframe forward to your desired frame number and move the angle hook once again to your desired location and press I once again to set the keyframe. And there you have it. You can see the interaction. I believe this procedural guide has been an insightful one, and I believe our time has been fast spent. So, in the part two of this illustration, I intend to teach you how you can create and position your own lighting by yourself, and also teach you tricks on how to make your light flicker. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I can't wait to hear from you. Good luck.